All right, you guys ready to rock and roll? We're at Powerhouse Gym out here in Fullerton, California, where I train. Come on in, I'll show you how we do it.
Two, 3, 4, one more. 50. Stay there. 3, 4, 20.
Gotta go nice and slow. Use the weight you can handle. Stretch and squeeze, just like size and shape, baby. Gotta have all the components if you want to build a big chest. Let's go. 4, 5. You guys notice anything different this year? I said last year we had a rabbit and we had a tiger. The rabbit's not here. This year we got the tiger, Richard Longwith. He went on to win the Mr. Orange County middleweight and Mr. California middleweight. So not only do I have a tendency to find the right kind of training partners, but they're champions too. We trained with Flex Wheeler this year. He won all 3 shows, the Ironman, the Arnold Classic, and the San Jose. So we're 5 for 5. I'm about to make it 6 for 6. Notice Flex ain't here though. I was thinking one thing when we're training. Stuck in my head since 1988, I believe it was. Lee Haney said, stimulate, don't annihilate. That's what bodybuilding is. You gotta stimulate the muscle, not try to kill it, but jerking it and swinging it using too heavy a weight. So we're just trying to get a little stimulation today. One, 2, 3, 4. Just thinking about the yo, 1 week from now. I'm trying to reach my final destination. Get that long-awaited Super Bowl of bodybuilding trophy, the Sandow Trophy. I've been training for 10 years for this show. 1987, I turned pro at the Nationals. 1988, I made my pro debut over there at Universal at the Mr. Olympia. Was 14th on my 22nd birthday. This year I'm coming back as the #1 bodybuilder in America, #2 in the world. It's 30 minutes from my hometown of Placentia, held in Long Beach in front of a home crowd, so this one has special significance for me. Knowing that I did my homework, I'm about 5 pounds heavier than I was last year. I trained since January. We started out training with Flex for his 3 shows, and Flex's shows were over, and then Richard's shows came up. His shows are over, and now mine's here, so.
You haven't stopped.
We had a really good training year with some serious focus, so that's where my head's at. It's on September 19th. You probably wonder why I'm so quiet. It's not my birthday. We're a couple days late this year. But the focus is just the same. The training was just as hard. I told a lot of people last year in the magazines, second place sucks. Believe me, I had to live with that for a solid year. And it does. It sucks. So this year we're coming back to #1. Let's go. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, come on. 3, 4, 15. Let's go. 5 more. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Powerhouse Gym, the only place you can throw your weights around. Let's do some biceps.
2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20.
I guess after getting second at last year's Mr. Olympia and having such good reviews, I think the only thing I really did differently was that I started a little bit earlier. I had the advantage of bringing the enemy into my backyard and seeing him up close and training and pushing him, and that's Flex Wheeler. He was getting ready for the Ironman Arnold and the San Jose show, needed a training partner, I needed a good sparring partner, and our training styles were different, although I think he benefited a little bit more from it than I did because he was on a diet. I was more like the energizer, the motivator, and I pushed him to his limits. I brought his weight back down to a respectable weight because he kept trying to compete at a weight that was too heavy for him. And in doing that, I watched the evolution of his physique. I watched him go from this 265-pound puffy off-season bodybuilder into a 224-pound almost piece of perfection. And watching him go through it and pushing him and encouraging him, I was seeing a lot of myself 6 months down the road, what I would have to go through. The difference is that Flex needed someone to push him, spar with him, make him do the extra rep, make him do the extra exercise, whereas I'm a self-motivator. I don't necessarily need that. And I was kind of like the Mickey in the Rocky movie, you know. I was like, come on, give me another rep, give me another set. And he would do it, and he would do it willingly because he wanted to win and he wanted to improve. And I think that playing that role, which I've never really played before, gave me an insight to what I was going to have to do in June and July and August, which is rely on myself to become better than I was in 1996. And watching Flex go into those 3 shows, win all 3 of them, get back to the winning form, I felt like I was part of the winning combination. I felt like this is what victory is all about. And although the Arnold Classic and the Ironman and the San Jose could never compare to winning the Mr. Olympia, being on a winning team does a lot for your confidence. So immediately after those 3 shows, my alliance with Flex Wheeler broke off because, of course, he went on tour, and then when it was time for him to get ready to start training for the Olympia, I was already in my Olympia training mode, training with Richard, so he could do the Orange County and the Mr. California, 2 contests that he won both shows. And so I was training competitively since December of 96, getting ready for the Mr. Olympia in September of 97, and not really having the time to relax and rest on my laurels, fighting with Flex all the way to the contest, and then having to fight with Richard all the way to his contest. And of course, when his contest was over in the first weekend of May, it was my turn. And I'm like a warrior. I like to do it alone. Flex was nowhere to be found. Richard was on vacation, and now it's my turn. And I really like that because I put the pressure on myself to suddenly take my physique from ground zero to what I felt I had to improve on and become perfect. And I don't know if my physique is perfect, but it's perfect for Shawn Ray. It's the best I could do with what I have to work with. And a lot of people positively gave me feedback that last year there was absolutely nothing wrong with my physique. If there's anything different between me and Dorian, it's the fact that Dorian's a bigger bodybuilder and taller. But when it comes down pose for pose, head to toe, front to back, there's some flaws in his armor that I exploited. And that's the whole key at the Mr. Olympia, is that I wanted to bring the attention away from the champion's strong points and his strengths and exploit his weaknesses. And I think I did a pretty good job last year. The magazines certainly think so. The fans were definitely cheering for me. And size and shape is the combination that I walked away from that contest with. And people said that's the winning combination, is size and shape. Size for the sake of size shouldn't be the main criteria, and I think last year I exploited that to the maximum. So this year, the only main difference is I got about 4 or 5 extra months of competition training. I got about 5 pounds more of muscle, and I'm still riding high, convinced that I did the best I could do last year. No, maybe last year my best wasn't good enough in the eyes of the few judges that judged that contest, but after I went on tour and around the world and around the country, I came to realize that my best was more than good enough to win that show, maybe with a different panel of judges. So the bittersweet taste of taking second place in the Mr. Olympia was slowly turned into a positive reinforcement that I did everything right, I did everything I could do. People were pleased with the product that I put up there. And the main thing was that I was pleased, because there was nothing I would have changed, and there's nothing that I thought I should have changed with the package I put on stage last year. So last year being last year, and this year being this year, injury-free, more time to prepare, 5 pounds heavier, equally motivated, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and recognizing the weaknesses in the champion's armor, I'm ready to exploit it to its fullest. And in 1 week, I'll find out what the champion is really made of, and hopefully he'll come to the stage with his best product, because it's been 11 years, actually it's been 12 years since Mr. Olympia was defeated on stage. The year I graduated high school in 1984 was the year that Lee Haney won his first Mr. Olympia, beating Samir Banu. It hasn't been done since, and I always knew that somehow before my career was over, that if I was ever going to win the Mr. Olympia, I was going to take the title from the reigning champion. I didn't want to inherit it by retirement. I didn't want to win it by default, meaning the champion gets injured and couldn't compete. I wanted to go to the Mr. Olympia, and I saw myself doing this, going to the Mr. Olympia and taking the title from the champion, and there would be no ifs, ands, buts about the competition. So the stage is set. I'm 32 years old. My weight is right where it needs to be. I'm 213 pounds, and we got 14 of the world's best bodybuilders, and basically it's going to come down to the best man winning the competition. I feel I stand just as good a chance as anyone. My confidence is really high because I'm pleased with what I see in the mirror. I'm happy with what I put forth in the gym, and it's good to read the fan letters and the support that they give me, recognizing that bodybuilding is more than just size, and also identifying the fact that I have more than enough size for a guy at 5'7". And I've always said that my impact on the sport would be felt once I won the Mr. Olympia. I have a lot of plans for this title, and if I can take that title, I'd like to do a lot of things with it and set a precedent so that the guy that follows me as Mr. Olympia will have his work cut out to raise the visibility and popularity of the sport. Right now, I'm probably more motivated in taking the title and exploiting the world of bodybuilding to the general public and the masses in the form of commercialism, whether it's trying to do commercials, trying to get into TV or film, or just being seen at different avenues, places you wouldn't ordinarily find Mr. Olympia other than the gym. I want to commercialize that, and the only way that I think I can do it is by getting the trophy. And that's why I train so hard, that's why I stay so focused, that's why I'm so dedicated, is because the things our current champion is not doing right now are the things that motivate me to take that trophy away even more so. And if it happens come September 19th and 20th, I think bodybuilding won't be the same. It won't be the same, but it will be better. And that is my motivation, it's my destiny, and I firmly believe that if I don't win the competition come September 19th and 20th, I should lose to the better guy. And when I look back over my competition and my career and my preparation, I don't think there's anybody better. And I'm fully convinced that I've got everything it takes to win this competition. Hit a few poses, see where I'm at, you know, like an artist has to look at his painting. You know, you paint a little bit, you step back, you look at it from different angles, see what you need to add or subtract, whether you need to do a little more cardio, increase your carbohydrates, play around with your sodium or your water. I consider myself an artist. So let's see where we're at.
Do once?
Yeah. Legs.
1, 2, 3.
No, that's just perfect.
Sit him.
Oh no.
Elbow bicep. Relax. Not spread. Good. Relax. Side chest. It's good. Tricep. That's it. Okay, let's go. Hold it right there. Squeeze. Look at the hand straight. Let's go. Up and up. Squeeze it. Perfect. Your legs are looking real grainy. Hold it. Relax. Blow it out. Right there. Straighten it. That's good. That's it.
See you September 19th.